being broken by riding 100 miles on a fixed gear. A good old American freedom century, okay? 100 miles, not 100 kilometers. It reshaped me into the person that I am today. What's up? I'm Zach Gallardo. I'm a full-time YouTuber and I've ridden 5 fixed gear centuries. And I've also hosted a couple of fixed gear century rides where I've helped people complete their first 100-mile rides on a fixed gear bike, no less. Riding a fixed gear century taught me that I can do difficult things. Statistically, just to put things into perspective, 4.5% of Americans have a doctorate degree. Only 1% of trips taken in the United States are taken by bicycle. If you regularly ride your bike in the US, you're doing something that is rarer than people with the title of doctor. Just from my personal experience, maybe 1 out of 50 bikers are fixed gear riders. And maybe 1 out of 10 fixed gear riders have ridden a century on their fixed gear bike. That's 0.002% of people. My hometown of Elk Grove, California has 180,000 people, putting me in an elite group of 4 people. And I can name them: Mike, Justin, Daniel, and me. I hosted a fixed gear century last year and those guys came out. A fixed gear bike, there's no gears. You're stuck on your 1 gear. You wanna go faster? You pedal harder. You wanna go uphill? You pedal harder. You wanna brake? You back pedal. You wanna brake faster? You back pedal harder. You wanna rest? You get off the bike because you can't coast. There is no rest. While the gear may be as simple as possible, as simple as riding a bike 100 miles can be, that puts all of the responsibility and all of the achievement on me and you, the person riding the bike. There is no gear to bail you out. And doing that really takes me on a mental journey. I often say that the last 20 miles of fixed gear century are as hard as the first 80 miles. And that's usually where I break, where I start to think what I'm doing is extremely stupid, that I shouldn't have done it in the first place, that it's pointless, that maybe I shouldn't even be riding bikes because this frickin' sucks. But by the end of those last 20 miles, that home stretch, I end up feeling extremely proud that I did something I legitimately did not think that I could do. And that is something that I take with me for the rest of my life. Now, if you guys would excuse me for tooting my own horn for a little bit, but riding a fixed gear century taught me that I can do something that only 1 in 45,000 people have done. It gave me the balls to start this YouTube channel at a time in 2015 when there were exactly 0 people on the face of the earth making a living off of fixed gear content. Here I am 9.5 years after making my first bike video, and now I am a mildly successful full-time YouTuber with 2 channels. Riding a fixed gear century gave me the guts to live abroad in 3 countries for 2 years where I don't speak the language, eventually leading me to meeting my wife. Riding a fixed gear century changed my mindset from thinking that it's too difficult, I don't want to do that, it's uncomfortable, to let's just see how far I can go. And it turns out it's pretty freaking far. If you're liking this video so far, be sure to hit the like button. And according to my YouTube stats, about 70% of you watching this video right now are not subscribed. So be sure to hit the subscribe button to watch more fixed gear videos just like this one. Riding a fixed gear century also taught me that I choose to fail. There are centuries and bike tours that I have quit because I thought they were too hard. I've learned that when I get into my own head and I start believing the excuses that my mind comes up with, that's when I fail in riding and in life. I realize that I come up with the excuses to not even try because somehow I've convinced myself that if I don't try, I'm not a failure. It's too hard, I'll get injured, I haven't trained enough, I could die doing this. All true, but trying and failing is better than not trying at all. It's better that you ask your crush out and deal with the humiliation for a day than live with the regret of never asking her out for the rest of your life. It's better to try a 100-mile fixed gear ride, as untrained, unprepared as you think you are, and fail it, than it is to never try and wait around until you're too old to even try. Failure is life's greatest teacher. The embarrassment of failure lasts a day, but the regret of never trying lasts a lifetime. But something good that lasts a lifetime is this video's sponsor, Wabi Cycles. Whether it's ideas or bikes, time will separate the good from the best. And today's video's sponsor, Wabi Cycles, has been making the same fixed gears since 2009. I have 2 bikes, a Wabi Special and now a Wabi Thunder. I only care to own Wabis because they're just the most fun bikes I've ever ridden. Constructed out of lightweight Reynolds 725 tubing from the UK, or Columbus Spirit tubing from Italy. That's like that top tier Columbus tubing. Wabi's fixed gear and single speed bikes are responsive, lively, and solidly built. Wabi allows you to customize the fine details of your bike, from handlebar choice to gearing to stem length, so you can have a bike that is super dialed in right out of the box. If you have any questions about Wabis, don't ask me. Fun fact, I don't work for Wabi. Wabi is actually a real brick and mortar bike shop located in Denver, Colorado. You could email them, you could call them, you could drop them a message on Instagram, and they'll be happy to help you with whatever questions that you have and get you on a bike that you love. If you're interested, be sure to check out Wabi Cycles, linked in the description. When I host Fixed Gear Century rides, I ask everybody in the group before we head out, do you think you can do it? And from what I've seen, that is the only thing that matters. If you answer yes to the question, yes, you can do it. If you answer no to the question, no, you can't do it. Last March, when I hosted a Fixed Gear Century ride, my friend Mario came out, and I asked him, do you think you could do it? And he said, I'm probably gonna dip early. And then I asked him, what was the longest ride that you've ever done? And he said 30 miles. And also, he was on a road bike. So it seems like he wasn't super into the whole idea of riding 100 miles on a fixed gear bike. That's cool, just come along for the ride and have fun. We were actually here on the American River Trail, and we were about 60 miles in, over halfway, and Mario was still with the group. Everybody else in the group said, I can do the 100 miles on a fixed gear Century, or it's not a matter of if I finish the ride, it's a matter of when I finish the ride. But Mario was the only one who said, I'm gonna dip early. And at 60 miles in, Mario was already on the phone, on the bike, calling for somebody to come scoop him up and bring him back home. But when he got off the phone, I asked him, hey, we're already 60 miles in. All we have to do is ride back home to Elk Grove. Do you think you could finish the ride? And he said, I'll see how I feel when we get to Sac State, which is about 15 more miles away. So at Sac State, I asked him, hey, we're already 75 miles in. We're right at the home stretch. Do you think you can finish the ride? And he said, fuck it, I'll do it. And you bet your ass Mario finished the 100 miles. I legitimately did not know if he could do it. Throughout the entire process that I was trying to be inspirational and asking him, hey, do you think you could do it? I was thinking, this guy's only ever ridden 30 miles. Can he ride 100? And he freaking proved that he could. My last Century ride, I was too anxious and excited about the ride to fall asleep, and we had an early start time, and I ended up only getting about 2 hours of sleep that night. I rolled up to the ride to meet the group, and I said, hey guys, I only got 2 hours of sleep, which turned out to be on the higher end of sleep for that morning's group. I'm okay with chickening out of the Century ride. I did not know if I could do this Century ride. We're all sleep deprived. It's dangerous to ride when you're this sleepy, especially in a group. It's stupid, it's irresponsible. But everybody in the group was gung-ho about at least trying. To my disappointment, we agreed on, let's see how we feel when we get 15 miles in, which is to downtown. And once we got there, we're just like, just send it. We're already at the American River Trail, which is right here. It's like 60 miles, it's awesome. We did the hard part of the ride already, let's just finish it. And surprisingly, I felt awake and refreshed for the remaining 85 miles on the ride. I didn't think I can do it until I decided to. You don't need to train for months on end. You don't need to do endless amounts of research on nutrition and what the best routes are and what the best handlebars are and what the best gear ratio is. All you have to do is go and decide in your head and truly believe it that you can do it. If you're stubborn enough to do that, eventually the leg cramps stop, the hand numbness goes away, the saddle sores stop bothering you, and the crazy thing happens, you actually start to enjoy yourself. And I guarantee you, you'll have way more enjoyment than sitting down with some Chick-fil-A and watching a movie at home. All of that pain you'll experience on a 100-mile fixed gear ride is your subconscious mind telling you that it's easier to give up and amount to nothing. But we have the choice to tell our subconscious brain to shut the f up. At the end of one of the Fixed Gear Centuries that I hosted, I asked Brian, a rider who had just completed his very first century, said this. Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, man.
How you feeling, Brian?
I feel like I just killed the dragon.
Yeah, the dragon that we created. And that dragon is the voice in our heads that says it's stupid, it's crazy, and it is. Just go back home. Be comfy, be content, be complacent. Don't accomplish anything in your one God-given life. Riding 100 miles on a fixed gear all in one shot slays that dragon. Stephen Pressfield, author of many novels and productivity books, says in his book, Do the Work, slay the dragon once and he'll never have power over you again. But once you'll have beaten him once, you'll know you could beat him again. That will transform your life. Check out this video on the story of my miserable experience riding my very first fixed gear century. Or if you want to watch more of my lifestyle content, check out my second channel, Zachy, and this video on how this notebook changed my life forever. Fixie famous shoutouts to David K, Salvador Lombroso, Julian Corona, Brent David, Perez, and Ted Onchi for helping to make these Fixie Gear videos possible through the support on Patreon.